And welcome back to Disruptive Live. We are at the Cloud Expo Asia in Singapore, and I'm joined by the happiest man in Singapore today, the Chief Happiness Officer. Hadi. I'm having a terrible day. I'm sorry. We already discussed this. Hadi Wibawa, the Chief Happiness Officer of Mednafits. Welcome.
Thank
Tell
you for having me here.
about Mednafits. Tell me about it.
So Mednafits is actually a digital platform. We help companies to lower medical costs and digitize all their entire back-end processes. So in a way, you can think about it, SMEs who are totally relying on manual process, now they're totally digitized. And when they access healthcare, it's at a lower medical cost. So it helps them in their healthcare investment.
You have to start from scratch. So obviously we're from the UK, we've got the NHS and that's it. How does it work over here? How
For Singapore? Well, you can think about it like typically, SMEs, they have no access to affordable healthcare. I mean, if you're big, let's say if you are Singtel, which is the biggest telco in Singapore, when you go to healthcare providers, you ask for corporate rates, they do provide. But if you're an SME 3 to 5 man shop and you ask for a corporate rate, it's just not available. So what we've done was, it's not really rocket science, but what we've done is we've actually pulled all the SMEs together. We connect them straight to healthcare providers for a corporate rate, and that's how we value add to the SMEs as well.
Okay, that's interesting. That's really interesting. How have you done that? I mean, that sounds a very complicated thing to achieve.
I mean, we took the logic of insurance where we bring traffic to healthcare providers in exchange for a lower medical cost. We've applied the same logic for the SMEs as well. Along the way, I mean, I wouldn't say it's a tough process, but along the way we realize what the doctors want, which is traffic, and we realize what the companies want, which is lower medical cost. And specifically in Asia or even in every part of the world, healthcare, specifically outpatient, is driven by the employer. Means when you go to the doctors, it's usually provided by the employer. And where the old method was very traditional, either you buy insurance or you do on a reimbursement basis, where you give a budget, the guy goes, give you back the receipt, very manual. We've totally digitized the whole entire process, in the hope that at the end of the day, it helps the employee become happier and healthier as well.
Well, yes. I mean, this is it. A lot of the studies say that, happier employees take less sick days, and then when you have access to healthcare, they don't have to worry constantly. But the stress of not having healthcare can make you sick in itself.
Right.
You go, I'm really worried about this. But you talk about digitize. So we're at the expo, so let's bring it back to the technology for now. And we can talk about the rest in a minute. How have you digitized that? How does that work?
So, I mean, we're a technology company, and when we use technology in our space, we really do ask ourselves, what does technology do at the end of the day? See, technology is able to automate processes, and at the end of the day, technology allows you the ability not to make mistakes. If you ask a human being to just keep to do repetitive stuff, highly likely they will make mistakes. So by putting technology as part of your whole delivery stack, not only you're able to automate, you're also able to making sure that the menial task is done perfectly every time. And yes, we've basically gathered 5 to 10 engineers to help us in digitalizing an entire platform that helps the employer, the employee, as well as the healthcare providers in one single unified platform.
And what kinds of technologies have you used to achieve that? I mean, is this cloud-based?
It's totally cloud-based. I mean, we're in Cloud Asia, so it's totally cloud-based. And I think our ability to develop technology has become drastically cheaper. I mean, you got AWS, you got Azure, you got Alibaba Cloud. So our ability to deploy technology is shorter than what we used to, and it has gotten way cheaper. So I think we took the lean methodology framework into our existing company process. We basically develop something, and we continuously iterate the process. We ask the customer, hey, actually, what is good about this platform and what is not good, and we take feedbacks. We constantly iterate that into our product process, and along the way, we are constantly improving our platform to serve the customers' needs.
Interesting. So, you're primarily, did you say primarily Singapore?
Yes, right now we are totally focused on Singapore.
Because I'm not familiar with how the healthcare works in the whole of Asia, so you
Right.
might as well just, I know nothing about it.
Okay.
So this would be quite applicable all
To
over,
Asia.
wouldn't it?
I mean, think about it, right? In every country, for every government is talking about unemployment rate, meaning the majority of the population is being employed. If you are employed, typically every country would mandate your employer to provide some kind of health coverage for the employees. So, having said that, the majority of the outpatient care model in every country is driven by the employer. It comes from the employer's budget. So whether benefits exist or not, this budget will always stay. And what compounds the problem is that healthcare costs is rising at a pretty high. The inflation rate for Singapore is 7.4. I'm not really sure on the rest, but
Right.
it is increasing at a rate that's higher than your wages. So whether we exist or not, healthcare costs is going to go up. So we like to be the company that's able to solve healthcare inflation costs for the region. And we started with Singapore. We are already in Johor Bahru, JB, just across the causeway. We will be in KL by the start of next year. So we are totally Southeast Asia focused because we believe this problem needs to be solved from a Southeast Asian context before we can actually apply it for the rest of the region. And it's not really something new anyways. I mean, if you follow the news, right, Amazon, JP Morgan, and Berkshire Hathaway is actually forming an alliance to solve this same exact problem as well.
Yeah, so 51% of people are, well, in Europe anyway, are within the SME market. They work in the SME market, and if this is one of the things that is a barrier to working with an SME, then no, it's an amazing feat.
Just to compound the problem, you think about it. In your region, it's 51%. In Singapore, 99% is SMEs.
Really?
Yeah, in the emerging countries, it's probably an even bigger number. What's crucial is this, you see, every country needs, the SME is the heartbeat of the economy.
Yep.
Yet, when the SME goes to the healthcare provider, they don't have access to corporate rates. So the bigger boys have access just because they have volume. The small guys don't have access, and that is actually the problem. Why are you not helping the heartbeat of the economy? The guys that actually churns, the guy that actually helps to drive the economy forward. Yeah, and that's what we are totally focused in. Yeah, and we really hope to be the one that's able to solve that problem.
Well, there got two more questions, but the first one is obviously to solve the problem. Is it solving the problem? Is it working?
I like to think so. So right now we have about 21,000 heat counts.
It's amazing.
250 plus
In what
companies.
space of time?
Sorry?
And what space of time?
We've been around for 3.5 years.
That's
but
very impressive in 3.5 years.
It's been a journey of up and down, just like any startup, right?
Yeah, no, it's good.
So, but what really excites us is every time we go to the customer, they tell us we're actually solving their problem. We're on the way of solving their problem. So it's really what drives us. I mean, at the end of the day, isn't that what everybody wants, right? A better healthcare experience for us and our loved ones. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. It seems like it's been quite a journey. You've essentially, it's a little bit more than a business. I would call it more of a.
I mean, I like to think that it's not another app that's reducing your wrinkles, or it's just not another app that you show your daily lifestyle. It's a platform that we hope to help SMEs around the world get access to better, affordable medical care.
Yeah, it's amazing, and it's one of the positive sides of technology. You get a lot of apps popping up, and it says, This app will solve this, and it doesn't really solve anything. It's a problem that doesn't need to be solved, but these are genuine problems that are looking to be solved. And they're genuine, as you say, over 90% or 99% of the economy is based on SMEs, so it's obviously been a big problem. So I'll ask you my final question. You've kind of answered this, but I'll ask it again. What's in the future for Medifits?
I think we're just at the start of our journey, and it's a long road ahead.
Where would you like it to go? Maybe that's a better way of putting it.
We'd like to be the dominant player in Southeast Asia, helping companies solve their healthcare costs. It's really huge. In Singapore itself, employers are spending close to $3 billion on outpatient care itself. And this number is rising at 7+% every year. So, I mean, whether or not we exist, the problem stays. So we'd like to be the major player being able to help companies solve these healthcare costs. So just to answer your question further, we're very Southeast Asia focused because I think in life, as long as you focus, you are able to solve the problem. If we are able to solve Southeast Asia, maybe we'll take it into an Asian context.
Yep, well, we will certainly be keeping an eye on you and your progress. And if we're back next year, you must come and let us know how you've got on. But in the meantime, Hadi, thank you so much. Thank you
so much.
It's been great.
For an amazing interview. Thank you.
That was our Chief Corporate Happiness Officer from Medifits. What a great story. We are at the Cloud Expo Asia, Singapore 2018. You're watching Disruptive Live, and we'll be back soon with more interviews. Don't go away.